Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and before we get started on tonight's story, I'm going to tell you about Chilling. We're cutting right at the chase, no sponsor talk this time. Chilling is an app that allows you to listen to scary stories, kind of like how you're doing that right now, except Chilling has no ads. Also, you're able to hear stories from a whole bunch of other narrators, including some of our friends like AudionicMusic. There's this cool feature also that allows you to choose your own background music or choose your own ambient sound. So those of you that like to listen to this while you're relaxing or going to bed or sleeping or what have you, hey, this is for you. You get to choose what you want to sleep to. Influence your own dreams and the like. Also, we're coming up on the end of the month. On February 28th, they're ending their giveaway and they're going to be announcing the winners. So if you want your chance at a PS5 at NBA 2K 2022, at Madden NFL 2022, or my personal choice, Ghosts of Tsushima, the director's cut, then you want to head over to chillingapp.com/PS5 to be able to enter right now. All you have to do is just get your app, start your free trial, go to that website and fill out the form, and bang, you could be a PS5 winner by the end of the month. So yeah, check out Chilling, everybody, and on to tonight's story. Can your love survive our lockup? Provide an unforgettable Valentine's Day for that special someone with an evening at our exclusive escape room, where love is put to the ultimate test. Call the Lover's Locker today. The place is brand new, so new that when I went in to get their brochure, I could still smell the fresh paint on the walls. It screamed extravagance. The kind of place that middle-class socialites went to on a date night, so what was a boy from the Bronx doing here with barely $1 to spare? That's 2 words. Brandy Myers. We'd met only a month before on a dating site, and I wanted to make the jump from swiped right to a relationship status, and this place felt like the right spot to do it. When I texted her just days before Valentine's and asked if she had any plans, I had actually already booked us a room. According to the clerk, they were selling fast and I didn't want to miss out. None so far, was her response. So I sent her the tickets, and the next thing I knew, she was squealing in my ear over the phone. Babe, I can't believe you booked us that. It looks so classy. You really shouldn't have. Well, I figured maybe it would, finally give us a chance to really get to know one another. Make a decision about our future. I asked her. Is it going to be just the 2 of us going, or a group thing? How long will it last? I want to have dinner first. Is that okay? She had a few other questions that I couldn't answer, but I figured that we'd just wing it. We'd see where the night took us. Our reservations were at 6 that evening, and I got us there a little early with a bouquet of yellow roses, her favorite color. She came dressed in one of the most stunning, tight outfits I'd ever seen, and I wrapped my arms around her and leaned in for a kiss. Babe, you know how I feel about PDA. Come on, you're embarrassing me, she giggled. She smelled the roses, and we held hands as we went inside, the small group of other couples waiting eagerly to be told where they would be spending their evening. Cole and Brandy, a bald man called out from the front desk. I raised my hand, and we shuffled to the front of the line. You requested a deluxe suite. This way, the man said. We were led to a hallway on the left and followed a dark red carpet towards a room marked DXL, where the man provided a few rules. In case of a fire, there's an alarm on the left side of the room behind the painting, and if at any point you wish the experience to stop, you simply need to profess your undying love to one another, and it'll open the door back before the timer is through. Have any questions? He asked. Oh, what if we need to pee? I asked, suddenly realizing that I should have done that before we got here. Oh yeah, of course. Let me show you where the restroom's at. I'll wait, Brandy told me. I went and I did my business, and I hurried back as fast as I could. But my date wasn't in sight. I figured that she had already gone ahead inside. I slipped out the key the man had given me before entering the room. I'm not entirely sure what I was expecting to see on the other side, but it was certainly not this. The room was covered in ultraviolet light, making every surface seem far more illuminated than normal. Rose petals were scattered across the concrete floor, and long metallic chains draped from the ceiling. The chains meshed together to form a heart. A box of some kind wedged amid the bundle, and what looked like rows of knitting needles poking through the center table from the bottom of the box. On that table, there were several books, all of which opened, and some had ripped pages, some of which appeared to be arranged in an arrow diagram pointing towards the left wall. But that part of the room seemed blank. Instead, it was actually the opposite side of the wall that truly captivated my attention. Rows of one-way glass were lined up that reflected everything across the room, except there was one distinction on the other side of the glass, and it made me gasp in shock as I realized Brandy was lying on the ground, covered with blood and petals. Immediately I ran to the mirror, trying to bang on the glass and see if I could get her attention, yet instead, the next noise I heard left me in a panic. It was the sound of the door locking. Then a voice came over the sound system. "Welcome, esteemed guests, to our deluxe suite." Immediately I started calling for help. "My girlfriend's injured! Get 911!" I shouted, as I tried to dial myself, only to soon find that cell phone reception was blocked. "You'll find that we've taken the necessary steps to provide you with the most immersive experience possible, connecting to your personal love story." The man droned on as I scrambled to find the picture that the man had said was an emergency release, yet there was nothing. And the door itself had seemingly disappeared into the wall, as if hidden by another trigger. I was locked in, and Brandy was either dead or dying. "If you can unlock the mysteries of each other's heart, you'll make it out a better person and better lover. But if not, you may discover that love itself may be that which tears you apart," the recording continued. I got down on my knees and I tried again to get her attention and see if she was responsive. I was slamming my fists against the thick glass in frustration. I glanced up at the ceiling and realized that one of the chandeliers above the chains looked like it was a survey camera, and I shouted, "Is this your idea of a sick joke, man? My girlfriend is in need of medical attention!" There wasn't a response. I went over to the table and I tried to flip it in frustration, soon discovering it was bolted to the floor. And then I felt something taped to the bottom. It felt like some kind of tool. I crouched down and I realized that it was a magnifying glass, and I quickly removed its tape before staring at the mix of papers on the table. As I looked through the magnifier, I realized that some of the words on the papers were colored differently. I started to piece them together and try to form a secret message. It felt like it was taking hours as I looked across the glass to where Brandy was lying. I had no way of being sure she was all right, but I knew time was of the essence. It felt like I was racking my brain, trying to figure out the scrambled message. And then I heard the strangest noise coming from the other side of the glass. It sounded like tapping. I stopped what I was doing and I went up to it, trying to pay attention to the pattern. Was it Morse code? I tried my hardest to pay attention, but I honestly didn't know a thing about it. Even as it went silent, I realized this could be a vital clue that I had just missed. Was Brandy going to be in mortal danger all because I couldn't solve these puzzles? I felt trapped, both literally and figuratively, and in frustration I went back to the books. Grabbing the first one off the table, I chunked it at the wall. It fell to the floor and a page stuck to the wall. To my surprise, it was a cipher. I grabbed it and studied the other pages as well, realizing I could use it to unscramble the code. S-A-V-E was one word. Panic set in and I tried to understand the rest. S-A-V-E, save her and you save yourself, it read. Did it mean Brandy was still alive? And did that mean I was in danger too? A moment later, the tapping returned, and I realized I might be able to figure out what that meant as well with the cipher. It was a stretch, but maybe the two were connected. As it finished, I managed to write down the one word I was sure that had been sent. K-E-Y. Key. There was a physical key somewhere in the room, maybe the way out of here or something else. The question was where? I got down on the cold floor and I pushed pedals out of the way, trying to see if maybe the object was hidden somewhere. There was literally thousands of them covering almost every inch of space in the tiny room, but I kept sweeping them aside. Soft music began to play as I pushed more pedals out of the way, and I froze when I recognized the song. It was something that Brandy and I loved on the radio. Only a week or so before. How the hell did they know that? As the music kept playing and I pushed more pedals out of the way, it began to get more and more distorted until at last, it was repetitively playing the same part of the song over and over. Maybe it was another clue. I listened to the lyrics. Never hit so hard in love, Wrecking Ball, by Miley Cyrus. Immediately, I reached for the chains, tugging on each one of them to see if one of them might collapse. The fourth one did, and at the end was in fact a small key connected directly to the main chain. The box, I realized as I looked up at the intricacies of the hidden puzzle. I mean, what else about this room was part of the game? Was this really just a test and none of it was real? I heard over the intercom Brandy beginning to gasp for breath, and I saw through the mirror she was beginning to convulse from the shock. Hey, I'm right here. Okay, I'll help you. Just hold on, I shouted as I tried to get the key loose from the chain. Instead, I realized I'd have to carefully pull the chain towards the box, but it still wouldn't reach. The only way would be to dislodge the box from the needles, I realized. Wrapping my hands around the ripped-up paper to protect myself, I began to push at the needles to reach the sides of the box. Even with the added layers of paper, it felt like sharp cuts directly against my wrists as it took all of my power to not stop. Brandy's gasps were the only thing keeping me going. I know that it was my fault that she was in this mess to begin with. I could hear her now begging for my help. Cole, pull the alarm. Get us out of here, she demanded in desperation. I don't know where it is. There's no portrait on my side, I yelled back as I finally found the strength to push the needles deep into my skin and grab the box. It tugged out rather easily to my surprise, and I managed to unlock it only mere seconds later. I was expecting something inside to help us out of this hell, but instead, as I opened the box, the lights went completely out, preventing me from ever seeing inside of it. The sound was canceled too. I couldn't hear anything from her side as I scrambled to find my phone. Surely it was somewhere on the table? I fumbled down on the ground and blindly began to search. And then I heard a roaring noise from below the table. It sounded like a growing furnace. A song by Johnny Cash filled the intercom as I felt warmth beneath my feet and panic set in. Were they really gonna burn us alive in here? Cole, I can't move, help me! I heard Brandy scream over the song. I used the glow from the fire to make my way towards the mirror and banged on the glass. I'm trying, babe, just hold on, okay? The flames were shooting up and melting the table from underneath, causing my makeshift footstool to reach the ceiling to collapse. And the rose petals were acting as extra flammable material for the growing blaze. I realized this as I demanded to be let out, but of course, there's no response. Brandy, I'm sorry about all this. I love you, I admitted to her. Don't you fucking dare give up. I want to live, she shouted with a whimper. I stood up, braving the inferno and reaching for the box to try and grab whatever was inside. Photographs of the two of us, driving around, making out, trying to just laugh. Have we been stalked by these guys? What was all of this? Some of the photos showed either one or the other, marked with that black permanent marker, and then at the bottom, etched into the box was a warning. Save yourself, or save her. I had to make a choice, but how was I going to save her? I had nothing to give to her. Brandy, I need you to get up, I begged as I pushed my back against the glass wall. She couldn't see me, but I saw she was now scrambling to find a way out of her own prison. I don't understand what's happening, Cole. What is this? She whimpered, as I saw water was beginning to pour in from the ceiling on her side. Look, I'm probably not going to make it, okay? I think I know what to do to make this thing stop, and I'm really sorry, I said as I covered my mouth, unable to speak. I ran towards the blank wall. I began to claw at it. Anything to ruin the building. If they wanted me dead, I was going to take them down as much as possible. Instead, as I ripped the wallpaper off, I found what looked like a portrait of myself. I pulled the paper off more to reveal the rest of the painting, stunned by the details of my image. The escape switch, I thought, as I pulled it off the wall and saw the way out was right in front of me. But then the lingering question hit me. If I pulled it, did that mean Brandy would die? A message came over the intercom. Congratulations! You found your one true love, yourself. Use the escape lever to end the simulation and rediscover your life, it said in a robotic voice. At the same time, Brandy was desperate to stay above water on the side of her prison, and if I pulled it, I imagined she would drown. There were probably a dozen excuses I could have used to save myself. To let her go. I mean, I didn't really know this girl. I didn't know if we were gonna work out or not. I mean, heck, after this hell, if I were her, I would definitely dump me. But I told myself that I had to save her instead. The wall! Rip off the wallpaper! I shouted to her as the flames licked against my skin. She heard me and didn't hesitate, jumping through the rising water to scratch at the different wallpaper. Love is blind, and love cannot exist without first there being selfishness, the intercom announced as Brandy gasped for air. You can do it, come on! I shouted. I saw bits and pieces of the portrait show up. Pull the lever! I told her desperately. Both of us were moments away from death. She turned towards me and demanded, You do yours too! You're there too, right? I felt a chill run down my spine. As I realized, she was breaking the escape room rules. They said, either one or the other. We can't both go, I insisted. Fuck it, Cole. Fuck the rules. Pull the damn lever on 3. 1, 2. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on the ground in a back alley. It felt like I'd been hit by a freight train. My clothes still smelt of fire. I knew that it had all been true. I called Brandy. I couldn't get through. I stumbled out of the alley. I called a cab, getting to her house about 10 minutes later. They had dropped me off on the south side of town, little more than the clothes on my back. I ran to her door and I slammed my fist against it. She had already made it home and looked just as shaken as me. Brandy, I'm so sorry about all this, I stuttered. Her glare told me that any chance I had at a second date was gone. I don't know what you did to provide that place with all the intimate details about my life, but you're sick. The place was a nightmare, Cole. We almost died. I didn't do anything. They must have been monitoring us. All the more reason to not be together. I can't live like that. You better believe me, I didn't know this would happen. She crossed her arms uncomfortably. There was something that she wasn't telling me. When I went in the room, I wasn't alone, Cole. Not at first, she explained. Yeah. Someone stabbed you, right? Did you see their face? It was you, she whispered. The air around us felt colder as she explained. But somehow I knew it wasn't you. I can't explain it, but I played along. This other you gave me a warning about the escape room. It's meant to be a representation of how our relationship will go, and if that's true, I just can't get hurt again. I don't understand. What you're saying isn't possible, I said, my throat feeling dry. Is anything we experienced tonight? Just go home, Cole. Leave me alone. I tried to go back to the escape room today, to complain to the management, maybe get some answers, but the building was already being stripped apart. Moving on to the new town, one of the workers explained. Or more likely covering their tracks, I thought. I don't fully understand what we experienced, or what was real about this hell. Was the escape room an illusion? A vision of my future with Brandy? For now, I can only view her from afar, wondering if the game of love I played was actually worth it. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I wanted to tell you thank you for watching today's video on YouTube or listening to tonight's episode of the podcast. If you guys are watching on YouTube, then that means you can find the podcast on Spotify or anywhere else that you happen to listen to podcasts. And if you guys are listening on the podcast, hey, if you want to find some older episodes or a whole bunch of stories you've never seen before, you should check out youtube.com/MrCreepyPasta. And no matter where you are, I really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button and hitting that bell reminder, just so that you can always find a new story as soon as it becomes available. And I want to give a big thank you, as always, to all of my Patreon subscribers on Patreon. All my patrons on Patreon. You guys are the real MVPs. You are the ones that allow me to do stuff like getting specific stories just for the channel. All those wonderful things that come from Dale Drake, those are because of all of you. If you guys want to see more of that, then I would really, really, really love if you guys could help support on patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta, like some of these wonderful guys, such as Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Stephanie Butler, Bobby Karman, Tristain Pelton, Chance Burnett, Diana Kraus, KhaosArts, Kryolinian, Milk and Miel, Celty K. Sturloson, Zachary, Graffius, It's All About That Fucking Music, Goreng, Trimagasi, Maria Walker, Tonya, Oran, paingravy, Krazy Kid, MrMarcusBlitz, Aika, Limchoc, Dirt Diver 030, Matt Bach, Jabbles, Raz, Voiceofsand, Coffee Zombie, Matthew McNeese, Shelly J, Jeremy H, Raltazal, Ficomel, Nana, Nick Weaver, Melted Lake, Tolly Sue, Sky Mara Ravenswood, William King, Darth Milver, Michael Ortiz, Satanic Aries, Nessie, Barterhawk 764, Lambda M98, Harley, Billy Morrow, Sashi Suzaku, My Body Sounds Like Rice Krispies, Kaylee Ambrose, Suji Campbell, Stricken, Azarine Fox, Freddy Krueger, Nicholas Sicardi, Happy Birthday Jason Wilson, Lisa Cottrell, Caspian, Hades Nephew, Tater Chip, Acid System, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Cryptic Nightmares, Kiri the Sloth, Tommy Green, Fester Lampshade, Sky Harbor, Nico Kyle, Rafael Rodriguez, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Paulson, Trace Miles, and Corey Kenshin. You guys, as well as everybody if you look down in the description, and everybody that can even just give $1 to be able to help things out. I really appreciate it. If you guys would like to join this list of names that I horribly, horribly mispronounce, check out patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. And honestly, even you guys who just listen, you watch, you comment, you like, you subscribe, thank you all. I really appreciate it. And sweet dreams.